All right, if I get this to start, there it goes. Encryption and decryption. Okay, here's basically how it works. We have a message. If I want to get the message to Juan or to Sam, we have a sender, so I would be the sender. Juan would be the receiver. Then we have some sort of media. In this case, it happens to be voice. Okay, it could be a network, it could be whatever. So that you really have someone sending it, someone receiving it, some way of getting it there. Okay. Normally we have plain text. That's the message before I encrypt it. That's what I'm starting with. Okay. And ciphertext is after I encrypt it, after I jumble it up in some way, which we're going to learn all about in this class. Okay. And interruption could mean we block a message. You're going to prevent it from getting through. These are just terms so far. Interception means we're going to capture the message, maybe read it. Okay. Modification means we're going to modify the message. Okay. And then fabrication, maybe we're going to create a fake message. Okay. Again, these are really just terms at the moment, nothing special yet. Okay. Okay, cryptography is using encryption to conceal plain text. We're going to take our whatever, we're going to encrypt it using cryptography, and that way it cannot be quite as easily read. Cryptanalysis is unauthorized code breaking. Okay. Say unauthorized, I mean really the person who encrypted it didn't want it to happen. Okay. All right, and then cryptology is both of them combined. Okay, and still got just terms here. All right, now let's talk about breakable encryption. It says analysts can determine the algorithm giving enough time and data. So if I give you an unlimited amount of time and an unlimited amount of data that's been encrypted, think you can figure out what it says?
Yeah.
Sooner or later, you should be able to.
Enough time, a monkey can type Shakespeare.
There you go. Exactly. Theoretically breakable means it's practically unbreakable. We haven't been able to break it yet, but we theoretically could sooner or later. Okay? Brute force is that's when we're going to try everything. You know what? I'm going to sit there. I'm going to try A. I'm going to try B. And then C. Then once I get to that, I'm going to try AA. Yeah, and then 1, 1. Basically, brute force is I'm going to try every combination of everything I can think about. I'm going through the entire English dictionary. Okay? And genius, we're going to see a picture of this, but you just, hey, let me try this, and it works. Yeah, I'll show you examples of it in a second. The estimate of breakability based on current technology, that's where Moore's law comes in. It says the number of transistors on a chip double every 2 years. In other words, our chips are getting smaller and smaller. Anyone ever see an M.2 drive? I didn't know what the heck that was until someone told me about it. Let me show you. M.2 drive. Okay, let's look at an image here. They're basically hard drives that fit into PCMCA slots. Isn't that awesome?
Really fast.
They've been out, but they're just now becoming popular, and their sizes are starting. I think they're only good for 500 gigs right now. Oh, you can now? Okay. But I mean, that's amazing. Imagine, because the actual interface is so much faster. Imagine a computer that has like 10 of these slots on it. Forget the whole SATA and all that other stuff. But that's cool. Okay. All right, so things are getting faster and cheaper and stronger and everything. That's why every year or so we come out with a new phone. Okay. See Mercury Rising? I bet no one's seen it. Yo, boring. Mercury Rising is about this kid. Well, I guess the government puts out this crossword. There's a crossword. In this crossword puzzle, they put a secret code that no one should ever been able to break. Then one day this kid breaks it. And I don't know if he calls the number. I forget what he does. But the government's like, oh no, someone broke it. Then they go try to kill him, and then Bruce Willis is protecting him. It's just one of those things that just happened. They didn't think anyone would ever be able to figure it out. Or how about Rain Man? Same thing. Okay? My stepson drives me bananas. But I taught him binary and ASCII in about 5 minutes. Totally understood. He literally went out the next day and wrote an entire message in binary, handed it to the bus driver, and tried to explain it to him. Didn't work. The bus driver had no clue. Then he went to school, told his math teacher, showed it to his math teacher. He came and goes, man, I don't know what the deal is. They have no clue what I'm talking about. I said, well, David, you pick up numbers and stuff like this a lot quicker. But then I had a parent-teacher conference, whatever it was, math teacher's like, yeah, he was trying to explain it to me, but I didn't know what he was talking about. I'm like, you're a math teacher. You don't know what binary is? You should at least know binary. Then ask you to just say bits. You know, it's not that big a deal. But some people are quicker than others at these things. Okay? Okay. Basic encryption, decryption. Okay? We have key-based ciphers. That something with a key is normally better. When you encrypt with a key, we encrypt it with a key, then decrypt it with a key. Sometimes it could be the same key, sometimes it could be a different key. Okay? But in this example right here, so we have our plain text right here, this P. We're going to encrypt our plain text with our encryption key. Everybody see how to read that? So the plain text encrypted with this key becomes ciphertext. Easy enough. Okay? So basically, start over here. So we took that same plain text encrypted with our key, then took that result, which is ciphertext, and decrypted it with the decryption key. What do we have at this point?
Plain text.
Plain text again. Yeah. Plain text again. Okay? It's the same thing as saying the results of this first one, decrypted, gives us plain text. It's the same thing. So if I encrypt something, then decrypt something, it should come back to plain text. It doesn't always. Now, symmetric and asymmetric will be on every test. Okay? Every test. Symmetric uses the same key. The easiest way to remember this is S, symmetric, S is same. Okay? Asymmetric is different key. So, symmetric encryption, use the same key to encrypt as you decrypt. Okay? It's AES. That's DES. That's a bunch of other ones. Okay? So whatever I encrypt with, I decrypt with the same key. So symmetric, remember the S, same. That's going to be on every test. I'll tell you right now. Now, the test is encrypted, but the ones that require mathematical calculations are not encrypted. So the entire test is not encrypted. Okay? Only part of it. Don't worry, I'll tell you ahead of time. So even to get to the study guide, even you have to know how to decrypt it. So I mean, if you can decrypt the study guide, the test is encrypted the exact same way. But
that is interesting.
it's fun.
It is.
That's why if you write the Python script to do your first assignment, which I give you 2 weeks for, you can use it on the test.
There's a book out there for cryptography in Python.
But I'll tell you right now, there's a book on it, and there's a lot of you really don't need it. It's that basic.
No,
you can.
I like programming, and I read books about Java and stuff like that. So that's why it just reminded me of
Good. I hope you. You know, I would love it if every single one of you would pass. Heck, if every one of you get an A, it would be amazing. Because I get tired of seeing something. Just kidding. Okay, so asymmetric, we encrypt it with one key and we decrypt it with a different key. It's normally like a public key encryption system, like RSA or something like that. Okay.
So for asymmetric, you have like a public key and a private key, right?
Correct. So RSA, Ravesh Shamir Alderman. Who do you think made it? First one to make it. You would think Ravesh Shamir and Alderman. Wrong. That's a bonus question. So now you know. Do you remember?
I didn't have a question.
Public key encryption. First one to make it.
I don't remember.
It's a bonus question. There you go. Now you know. Don't read Wikipedia. It's good to tell you, Ravesh Shamir and Alderman is wrong. Okay. Okay, symmetric encryption says is an encryption algorithm with the same key is used for both encryption and decryption. The key must be kept secret. So if me and Sam are sharing something, we're encrypting and decrypting using a symmetric key system, and Sam gives away his key. What happens?
It's not secret anymore.
It's not secret because now they have my key. So whatever I encrypt, they have it.
Yeah.
Okay? So symmetric, we got to keep that secret. We also need to get it to him, which we're going to learn how to do that with Diffie-Hellman. But the key must be kept secret. It must be stored. So key management is a big issue. Okay? So secret key, again, same key for both. One key per channel. So me and Sam want to speak. One key between us. We're both going to use the same key to encrypt and decrypt. Me and Juan want to talk. Hopefully that's a different key. Because if I use the same key for all of us, well then now Sam can read Juan's stuff. See what I'm saying? So one key per channel. I want to encrypt something to Sarah back there. Again, that's a third key. Okay. The math behind it is n times n minus 1 divided by 2. Okay? So if we have 4 people, 4 times 4 minus 1, which is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12 divided by 2 is 6. Look at our math up there. I did our 4 users, A, B, C, D. One for there, 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 one for there. Everybody can talk to everybody. 6 keys. Okay? We have authentication as long as the key is kept secret, as long as we don't share that key with anybody. Distribution's a problem. I have to get Sam a key, I have to get Juan a key, I have to get Sarah a key.
So the calculations calculate
How many keys?
how many keys? Okay.
Yes. So if I wanted to talk to 4 people, how many keys would I need? I would need 6 keys.
Okay.
We're going to do another one in a second. So distribution's a problem. Management is a problem. You know, the storing, the safeguarding, the activating, all that stuff becomes a problem. Okay? Okay. So what if I have 8 users? 8 times 8 minus 1 divided by 2. So 8 times 7 divided by 2. So 56 divided by 2. 28 keys. And you can draw 8 things and draw the lines, but that'd be way too complicated. It works every time. So you need to know that right there. So make sure you have some handwritten notes that says symmetric key. People get it wrong every time. I'm like, come on, guys, it's not that. Very, very basic math. Asymmetric. Now we use a different key to encrypt and decrypt. Okay? So I'm going to send something to Sam. I'm going to encrypt it with one key. He's going to decrypt it with a different key. Those keys are linked, but 2 keys. Okay? So 2 keys per user. I have to have a public and a private. Sam has to have a public. Okay, I'm going to talk to Sam here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my message, encrypt it with my private key. Okay? Not going to give it to nobody. So I keep that key private. Only Ken Dewey knows the key. Then whatever, once I encrypt it, I send it to Sam. And I also send him the public key. I can post the public key on the internet, like PGP. Sam downloads my public key, he can read it. So if I post my public key on the internet for everybody to read, what the heck good is this? So if I have a message, I encrypt it with my private key, send to you all, and y'all can download the public key. Why would I even do it? What did that do for me?
And make sure that he read it, or is specific person read it that you trying to send it to.
Isn't that non-repudiation?
Not yet. Well, not really.
To make sure that he read it, like that he got your message.
I want to know. I want to know.
I don't know.
Well, think about it. I encrypted it with the private key.
Okay.
Everybody in the world can decrypt it, okay?
Are you honeypot?
When you download this key, this public key, who's the only person in the world that had the key that works with it?
The owner.
Me. So you know it came from Ken Dewey. I'm the only one in the world that could have made that message because it was encrypted with my private key. And the public key that gave to the entire world, the only other key that works with it is my key. So you know the message came from Ken Dewey.
Okay.
I don't know who opened it, because you all could open it. But, actually, right.
Wait, isn't that just non-repudiation? I mean, it's you. It verifies that it's you, right?
Yeah, I guess you could say it that aspect, yeah. I was thinking like, you opened it. You couldn't say you don't open it. I couldn't tell at that point. Keyserver.pgp.com. Let's search for, I don't know if my key's still up. Spelled it wrong.
It's still there. I think it deletes it after 6
Yeah, it does that. I don't know if I renewed it lately. Ah, darn it. Let's actually name our contains. Let's do contains rows.edu. There we go. So I can download Brian Hawkins' public key right here. And I can open this up with, let's just open it up with Notepad. There's Brian Hawkins' public key. So Brian Hawkins was to encrypt a message. I can now open it because I have his public key. Now, if I wanted to send something to Brian where he's the only one that can open it, I encrypt it with his public key, and the only one that can open it is Brian. See how that works? And I can actually use them in combination. Say I'm going to send Juan something. So I encrypt it with my public key. Private. But I also encrypt it with his public key.
Okay.
So I basically encrypt it with my private and his public. Then send it out to all of you. You all can get my public key. But you don't have his private key, so you can't even open it. See how that works? This way, I know Juan's going to get it, and he knows it came from me because I basically encrypted it with his public key, but I signed it with my, that's what's called signing. I signed it with my private key. So when he opens it, it says it came from Cryptography.
Is that kind of how digital signatures work?
Yes. And that's exactly how they work. You go to your bank, the certificates are downloaded to your computer by your web browser. When you go to your bank, that certificate is authorized through the certificate authority. The bank says, yes, this is really First National Bank. That you don't go the other way because the bank could care less. I mean, if you had a certificate as well, you wouldn't have to log into the bank. So, all right. All right. Yeah, I guess my key expired. Darn it. So, okay. 2 keys per user. Every user must have 2 keys. I must have a public and private. Juan must have public and private. Sam must have public and private, so on and so forth. Okay? So the number of users times 2. 4 users, 2 keys each. 8, done. Easy enough. Okay? Because I can use the same private and public key to talk to every single one of you. I just need to have 2. That's it. We have authentication as long as the private key is kept private. Management is simplified, but it is still an issue. Okay? So I've still got to get you guys the public key somehow. In this case, we can publish it on the internet. Substitution cipher. We can place each plaintext character with another character. Place an A with a B or something. Could also have transposition where we move things around. Okay. Monoalphabetic is also what the Caesar cipher is. This is what your first assignment is. Shift everything by 3. So an A becomes a D, a B becomes an E, a C becomes an F, so on and so forth. So the string we attack at dawn becomes ZHDWWDFND blah blah blah. Okay? Go backwards, don't do it. Think about it. Z, go backwards 3. What do you get? W. H, go backwards 3. E. It's exactly how I encrypted your questions. So you literally could take a piece of paper and write the alphabet and write it again, shift the row by 3, and piece of paper done. That's how I did it. It's exactly how I encrypted the questions. Not the bonus, though. The bonus are done differently.
That's super easy programming.
No, I'm just.
And that's a very basic program.
What's the bonus?
It takes.
I'll do the bonus.
Yeah, I remember hearing stories about you. I didn't believe it.
Very easy. So return to Rome becomes this. Come on, is that simple or what? That's simple. Okay. We can also have a called a key-based cipher. Maybe we take our message or a key and stick some letters in front of it. Okay. So we have a key. In this case, happens to be 3. Okay. Then shift by that key. Okay. Could also have a substitution cipher. There's just a bunch of different ways to do this. So how can we break these things? We can do something called frequency distribution. Okay. And there's also something called the index of coincidence. Okay. The number of E's E is the most popular letter. Do you all know that? You all seen Wheel of Fortune on RSTLN and E? RNSTL and E. Is that right? Yeah. So each language has a characteristic. If you do the calculation, which you will have to do for assignment 2, you will learn that English happens to have 0.0667. Okay? And computers make this trivial. trivial. I mean, you can write a program to break this in 2 seconds. Okay? Yeah, maybe not 2 seconds,
So
but
what,
short
I
period of time.
didn't get the idea about this.
We cover that more in depth.
Okay.
Okay. So what if we could mix it up? So if we know that the English language most common letter is E.
Okay.
It is. Trust me, it is. Okay. What if we could mix it up so that there's no letter more common than any other letter? Would that make it tougher to break? Yeah, it's called the flatten the frequency distributions by something called polyalphabetic ciphers. Okay? This is the English language. You'll see E is the most popular. T is next. Does anyone remember watching Wheel of Fortune before they gave you those 5 letters? Years ago. Some of you probably haven't ever even watched Wheel of Fortune, have you? But I remember years ago they didn't give those to you. Now they make it too easy. Okay. Index of coincidence is a statistical measure of text which distinguishes text from encrypted between using a substitution cipher. This guy wrote a book on it. That is considered the most important single publication in cryptography. Can't speak today. Okay. Here's how it works. It's defined as the probability that 2 randomly selected letters will be identical. For instance, we have a hat. Picture a hat. I have 26 A's in there. Or 26 letters, I'm sorry. 26 letters in the alphabet. A through Z. What's the probability that we'll pick an A out? 1 out of 26. Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
What's the probability I could pick a D out?
1 out.
1 out of 20 for each letter. Okay? Now what if we have 2 hats? They each have the same letters in them. A through Z here, A through Z here. The probability of pulling out 2 A's is 1 out of 26 from the first one times 1 out of 26 from the second one. Okay? It's just basic math.
Okay.
So the chance of drawing any pairs is 26 times 1 out of 26 times 1 out of 26, which ends up being 1 out of 26, which ends up being 0.385, because they're all the same quantity of letters. We have the same A's as E's and Z's, and right? The moment we start changing that, we add more E's, that's where this thing changes. So if we have the same number of letters of each letter in the hats, it will be 0.385. Okay? So an evenly distributed set of letters will be 0.0385. Well, now if we have 100 hats, so we'll fill the hats with 100 letters. And now we manipulate how many of each. So we put in 8 A's, 3 C's, 13 E's. We have more E's because there's more E's in our language. Then we do the math. The number of A's. What's the probability of pulling an A? If there's 8 A's out of 100, it'll be 8 out of 100. Make sense?
Right.
The probability of pulling out 2 C's would be 3 out of 100 times 3 out of 100. So it's 8 over 100 times 8 over 100. That's our number for A. Then 3 out of 100 times 3 out of 100, that's the number for B. Or no, in this case it's C. Then 13 out of 100 times 13 out of 100. If you add those all up, it will be 0.0667. It will be. Okay. You can do the math, you'll see. That's what's called the England index of coincidence. Okay. English happens to be that. So why is German different than English?
Different alphabet.
Different alphabet. They might not have as many. They probably have more G's or more D's or something than E's. Okay? Kind of with me?
No,
Maybe?
it makes sense.
You have an assignment on this. We do cover this a little more next time as well. Why is this useful? The index of coincidence can be used to test if it's plain text or ciphertext. Okay? Text encrypted, where the letters are jumbled up, it might be closer to the 0.385. But if they're not jumbled up, if we have the correct number of E's and so on and so forth, we know that it's English in this case. Okay? There's a word that's red here. Index of coincidence can be used to test if it's plain text or ciphertext. Do you agree with that statement? Trust me, it's true. But can you remember that statement?
I see.
Like probably halfway through this class
Mm,
on some
like it's on a
thing
test.
you have to do.
Mm.
Or you might have to answer a question and pick what's the index sequence used for.
So how we test it? Like,
You basically calculate. Okay, I'm going to give you some letters,
okay.
and you're going to calculate, add up all the A's.
And add up the E and do the math.
The math.
equation. Okay. Okay. Now.
And if you end up with 0.0667, you'll say, "Oh, that's English."
Oh, that's it. Okay.
I tell you what, try it.
I will.
Take some text from around 70 or so, 1970, and it'll match. Nowadays, this LOL, BRB thing kind of screws it all up. And now we don't even use real words anymore. Okay. All right. Here's some references on this as well. And I think that's the end of our lecture. No, we're doing polyalphabetic next time. Okay. Any questions on this before I get out of here? So an index sequence can be used to test if text is either plain text or ciphertext. Sound good? Don't get that one wrong. Yes.
I got a question, but it's not about this.
Okay. All right. Everybody okay with polyalphabetic, Caesar cipher? Can everybody figure out how to do that? It's up there. Okay, let me stop this.